object is never to tear grain and let the tool do the work for you. Let's go to side grain. Yes.
We've been taught that you cut it down easy. It always goes downhill to cut. If you cut it from the deepest part of that bowl up, to me that would be up.
No, that's downhill on an end grain bowl.
That's downhill on the end grain.
That was end grain.
Yes.
Now it's going to be different on side grain.
Okay.
Right? So unless you use these tools technically correct, you suffer the consequences. There's certain rules you can't violate. So, end grain, you go on the outside from the highest point down to the lowest point. On the inside, you go from the bottom of the bowl all the way up to the rim. Now, it's going to be different on this side grain bowl. Let's see, I'm going to use a woodworm screw. Let me ask a question. When people have been, if you've been turning bowls, has anybody ever had a tenon break off? Huh?
That one crushed.
And I did forget something tonight. I forgot my recess tool. So, I guess I'll just have to make one. Okay, what I've done is I've made a right angle on this tool, and now I'm going to take this tip off. See, this would be another right angle right here. See that? Where that's another right angle. But now my jaws have a 7-degree dovetail recess in there. So what I've got to do is I've got to take that from a right angle and make that like that. Now I'm going to take the front Now this is too deep for my recess, so I'm going to shallow that out a little bit. Okay, that ought to work. That ought to be good and hot. Oh, okay. Oops. Okay, so what I've done is I've made myself a recess tool. Because on side grain work, I don't use tenons. I do sometimes, but very rarely. Because How many people have ever had a tenon break off on a bowl? Right, because it's shearing right down the grain, isn't it? So if you learn to do the tenons, right, you never have failure on a side grain bowl. And it's much safer. But the idea
Say
that
that
something
again,
could...
Mark.
What?
You gonna put a tenon on it?
No, I'm going to put a recess in it.
He said 10 on the.
Because I don't want a tenon on a side grain bowl.
Okay.
I want to put a recess in it. I think I drilled the wrong size hole in that when I left the house. It's awful tight. Oh. Okay. Now, okay. Okay. When I'm teaching side grain work, what I'm looking for is people using their bodies and not fighting the tool. I'll give you an example. All right? We have this on this woodworm screw, and people fight this thing's bouncing off. Does anybody ever have their tool bounce? Why? Watch. Put the heel of the hand on the tool rest. Lock. Bingo. Put your hands over the tool. Lock that heel down so that it never moves. The reason there's a long handle on the bowl, guys, because it goes on your body. The end goes on your body. So you're down at a 45-degree angle, you tip at a 45, tilt it over to 45, and you do what? You just rotate your hip. There is no bouncing. And the bowl automatically comes around. If you keep doing this, right, it bounces and bounces and you're never getting round. Right? So just make a series of swipes. Right? How simple is this? I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm holding and guiding tools. I don't want to have a physical confrontation in my wood shop. So I do this, and then we do what? We put another pencil mark on there for our do not touch. We might make sure it's round. Let's make sure it's round first. Feels like there's a little bump in there somewhere. There. It's not quite round. All right, I'll make another shot at it here. Okay, that's round. Okay. So now we know that our bowl is going to be that big. If you have a large piece, then it's always wise to put the tailstock up there too. All right, so we'll just do that, just to show you that it's safer. If you have a large bowl, just remember you got a lot of leverage when you're out here. Okay, so now what's the next step that we're going to do? We're going to face this off. Okay, so now I've got that face clear. Now I can take a parting tool, which I just changed, right? But if I'm out here, I've got to make that little dovetail, don't I? And so many people try to stick a parting tool in there and all that, and they're way back here and it's uncomfortable. This is always in the way. So, in my shop, we make tools to do work for us. So what I did is I made that little recess shape. I've got my little angle, all right? See where it's not, it's past it's not a pure right angle, it's back in a little bit. So I'm gonna put that little angle, raise this tool rest up, so it's not below center. Tool can't be below center. So now I'm gonna go in here, and I'm gonna parallel that thing right there with the bottom of the bowl. And that'll automatically give me a dovetail. Perfect recess, it's out here, you're not fighting anything. Okay, so now we've got 3 cuts with this bowl gouge. The first, you put the top blade a 1/4 of an inch away from the wood. You just draw your hip back. That is a pull cut.
After you finish that recess tool, you want to pass that around?
We'll pass it around. Oh, the tool? Yeah, I'm finished. Yeah, pass it around. But I mean, it's just very quick to make. Right? But it's foolproof. Every time I got my right depth, I got the right angle for my jaws, and I'm not fighting this tailstock out here. Very safe. Oh, does anybody want to see? You pass that around too. You want to see my inside cut tool? Pass it around. Okay, I'm top blade, a 1/4 of an inch away. Pull it around. Pull it around. Pull it around. Oh my gosh, what have we done? Oh, we have torn that side, that end grain out of there. Has anybody ever done that? Well, how do you overcome that? What? Well, we can try that. Okay.
Shaping paper.
Okay, so here our top blade was a 1/4 of an inch away, and we pulled it around. We removed a lot of material, but it was basically a scrape, wasn't it? And now let's put the top blade a 1/16 of an inch away from the wood. Here we go. We're going to drop the handle way down, right? Way down here. Remember that old 45 routine? And we're going to roll the top blade. We're going to roll it over. See that? It's only a 1/16 of an inch away from the wood. Now what I'm going to do is just move my hip back. Oh, look what's coming off of there. Threads. Anybody come and feel that? Now, how simple was that, folks?
That looks like a scrape.
What? But guess what? Do you get that from the scrape? No. The top blade is a 1/16 of an inch away from the wood, and that puts that blade almost upside down. So it's actually perfectly in line with the rotation. Right? I've lined it up with the rotation, right? And that is, it's still a type of it. See, watch this. I'm getting a thread coming off of there. See that angel hair?
But your bottom wing and the point's doing the last cut, right?
Bottom wing, and this is laid over almost upside down, you know, where it's, look at that little fine angel hair. And it's amazing. So that's what I call a shear scrape. Now, on a side grain bowl, where does the final cut have to come from? It has to come from the bottom to the top on the outside. People do this, Right? They say, oh, I'm gonna make my, I'm gonna make my little bowl. All right? And they come over here and they say, oh, I'll just do a nice push cut and that'll be cool. They all come around. Wow, that's really great. I did such a great job. Uh-oh, now look at the end. See that, where it came across? It's all garbaged up because I went the wrong way on the grain. See those big old pits? Tear out. So you have to change your habits. You have to follow the rules of the wood. And if I take the same tool and I turn around and I do a push cut from the bottom all the way up to the rim, same tool. So now I'm going to come right here. See how I'm just allowing the tool to eat itself into the wood? I just hold and guide tools. No physical concentration with the tool. God, I better not touch that do not touch line. Somebody will get me. Okay, now let's look at the difference. All right, if I go the proper direction on the side grain bowl with a nice push cut, wow. What? See that? Remember where it was all fuzzy on this end grain? Pretty damn good, isn't it?
Damn good for a beginner, huh?
Okay, so now we've learned, right? Let's say you get down in here and you've got a bowl that comes way over and it's got a little rim. Let's make an example, right? Let's make it where it curves around. We'll make it where it curves around like that. Now, if I get down in here and I try to do this, then my bowl gouge is going to hit this tailstock. So what do we have to do? We have to change the angle on this, don't we? Or, who's got my spindle gouger, the one that we use on the inside?
Yes, sir. All the tools back up there.
The one with the silver handle.
We got one in the back.
The one with the silver
I put
handle.
all the other tools up front. I'm sorry.
So now what's interesting, I can take this tool and I can do what? I can blunt it down and just change this angle a little bit. Okay, see how I blunted that off? See how I blunted that? Okay, I've blunted that angle off, and now this would be like the inside of a great big large bowl gouge. The curve is fairly shallow. So now, instead of being jammed up into this tailstock, I've made it user-friendly. So now I can turn around right here, and I can start my push cut from the base up to the rim, since it's side grain. See, now I'm out here where it's easy. See that? Now I can continue on. Right, I'll just leave it like that, and you can see both cuts. You can see the bowl gouge cut, and you can see the spindle gouge cut. Right? Okay.
Mark,
What? Oh, okay, I'll finish it in 5 minutes.
Mark. I got a silly question, but I'm not a chunk wood turner, so that's why I don't know. Suppose you started with that bowl blank, turned around the other way, but this was still the bottom? You still
Still
gonna tear
works.
the grain the same way? But the
Right,
bowl, but the
because
bowl
it's
blank's
side grain.
opposite.
Right. The difference is this, if I have this bowl this way, I get the X pattern in the bottom of this bowl. If I make this the top and this the bottom, then all the rings will be in the O pattern in the bottom of the bowl. So you make a choice whether what you want to present to the customer.
But the cuts are the same.
Cuts are the same. Don't you not hear that, Butch? Okay, look, just real quick.
Don't waste time on
No,
that.
wait a minute, just real quick. All right. All right.
No matter, it's not speech to you.
If I take this bowl and I make my bowl here, this is my bowl, this was the pith, and those are the growth rings. If I make my bowl that way, this is my bowl, I look on the inside, right, and I see this. These are my growth rings. Okay. Let me just change this a little bit. Okay, so if I make my bowl this way, this is the pith down here, we reverse that. So now if I make my bowl this way, all right, then in my bottom, my growth rings look like this.
All right.
That's the O pattern. I hope that will enlighten a few people. But yes, you still do the cuts the same way. Okay, so now we'll expand this. So now what's the best tool to use on a side grain bowl on the inside? Bowl gouge. Okay, the first thing we do is we make the facing cut. So I have to raise the handle because the tool has to go to the center of rotation. Second thing I do is make the safety cut. Third thing I do is make the thickness cut. Right? And then I can go back here and I can start pushing. Because my final cut has to be from the rim to the base on a side grain bowl. Now, one of the things that I like to do personally is I like to do the drill and pull. And then I like to check the bottom. See how deep I am so I don't make a lampshade. Okay? And then, after I establish where I'm there, and then I like to leave that bulk in there, and what I like to do is parallel, I take my finger and I parallel the outside of the bowl, parallel the bevel with it, right? And I can engage the tool and turn it out. And push it toward the center. Parallel. Okay? Because I don't want to come back up here. If I take all this stuff out of the middle, then this is going to vibrate up here. So again, I parallel, I push down, peel out.
You established the full depth.
I what?
You established the full depth when you did that center drilling.
Right. I want to know, I've got enough room in here where I can make my final cut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here a little bit further. We're going to move our chuck down inside so we get balance, right? Okay, now for the sake of instruction here, if you want to take a look at this, you'll see that this is PDC, pretty darn clean, this cut. How many people have ever heard of a bottom feeder? Okay, in a side grain bowl, we've taken a bowl gouge and we've put a steep angle on it. I can even make it steeper. I can come up almost to a right angle. So if it's a real deep bowl, I can get in there. So my bowl gouge, when I get down in this corner, down in here and come across, if it's too deep, then my bowl gouge hits the rim. I can't come across. So we can change the angle on that bowl gouge, or you can just keep a bottom feeder handy. And again, all you're going to do is just roll that around just like we did, you know, and take whatever. Wow. That's pretty darn steep. But what we're going to do is we're going to come down in there. And as we engage this, okay. All right, I got a couple little lines in there, but we'll take it off and I'll pass it around and you can see the cuts in the back. You can see the recess. You can see the bottom feeder cut, right? You can see the bowl cut, and that's a pretty soft tulip poplar, but you can see it.
I think you answered the question already. We didn't see it here because I think you did it at your shop at home. When you drilled the hole to put in when you first did it, you drilled it to the depth of the finished that hole.
No.
No?
No, I just drilled it to put the woodworm screw in.
Okay.
I did my drill and pull cut to get down to my bottom. So, just in conclusion here, right? What you've seen tonight is technical application of the tools. And if you will take this next 30 days of your life and go to your shop and practice the technical application of the tools, get rid of the bad habits. Mark, I'm in the middle of my bowl, right? And I'm still getting tear out. Well, what are you doing? You guys can all call me up. You can come to my shop, or I'll come to your shop, whatever. If you will learn the 5 basic shapes and the 3 basic tools, the bowl gouge, the spindle gouge, and the parting tools, you will start to eliminate the frustration in the wood turning and bring in the joy. So challenge yourself to be the most technically accurate tool applicator. And remember, get rid of this. The hands can, you're no longer using hand tools, right? It's not a saw and a pair of pliers and all that stuff, right? The lathe has got all the energy. All you're doing is you're going to be a holder and a guider. I thank you very, very much for inviting me. I thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope you learned something.